So sometimes when we're going through these transitions, we get hyper focused on finances, right? And, maybe a little on your emotional as well, but you're not spending as much time planning your future and planning exactly what you want to do with those finances that you're working so hard to, to bring in, right? Or to earn, right? So as women, security is everything to us, right? We want some respect, of course, but our security is golden, right? Without security, we're just not operating right. We're not where we need to be. And with some, we can get into a very hyper focused go getter, go get that money. I don't think about anything else other than securing the bag, right? Securing finances. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to invest. I'm going to save every penny that, is coming in. I'm going to cut back on my spending. You get so hyper focused on saving and paying the bills and being responsible, right? Doing the right things, but you never stop to ask yourself, what do I want my money to accomplish? So although I'm making all of the responsible, moves, I'm making all the quote unquote right moves financially, what am I saving it for? What is the purpose, the agenda, the desired outcome that I want it to have? Not just I want a certain amount of money, but what do I want to do with that money? How do I want that money to serve me now that I've accumulated it, or as I'm accumulating it? How do I want that money to actually work for me? What do I want on the other side of the accomplishment, right? Is it the travel? Is it leaving, corporate America and starting your own gig? Is it paying for your children's, college so that they don't have to take out loans? Is it taking care of, family back home, right? Is it retiring peacefully, right? Knowing that when you do, put down, the workload, that you can retire how you want to and when you want to, right? And where you want to. So financial security equals peace, right? But peace also equals knowing what you want that financial security to look like. It's defining that. How do you want your dollars to work for you? Now, what is the strategy that you have behind your money? When I went through my divorce, I was in straight, how do I make this money phase, right? How do I make ends meet? How do I, ramp up my savings? How do I save for whatever I need to save for, be it retirement, be it whatever my sons may, need at the time, whatever bill is going to come up. But I never really, well, I did at some point, but it took me a long time to really stop and say, okay, but how do I want to use this money? How do I want to categorize this? What is it supposed to look like? Am I just saving just to save? Or am I saving with a purpose? Am I saving with a plan? Because how you answer that question determines how you strategize your financial plans. Do I want this money to be easily accessible to me? Do I want the opportunity to be able to do more with my money than just save it? Do I want the opportunity to be able to, you know, get my money, retrieve my money, liquidate my money when I need to for emergency purposes, or maybe to take advantage of an opportunity, an investment opportunity that comes to play? Or do I want to store my money, kind of forget that it's there other than contributing to it on a regular basis, let it just pile up, and then use it in the next, 10, 15, 20, whatever years for retirement? You see how those two things are completely different strategies. So when it comes to putting your money in a mechanism or a vehicle that really powers the intent it is going to depend on what the intent is. So before you just, get too caught up in, storing up the storehouse, make sure that you're saving with the purpose, right? Let's not get too bogged down with the fear of not having enough, or the fear of running out, or the fear of being dependent on someone else. And understand that, we're here for a purpose. We're here to enjoy our lives, and we actually have to define what that looks like. And when you define what that looks like, you're able to plan it a lot better. You're able to avoid mistakes. So that's the message. It's awesome, and it's a responsible thing, and we all need to store our money, right? To stack up our money, to save, to be responsible. But we also need to make sure that we're asking ourselves, what are we doing it for? What are we saving it for? We don't want to get to the point where we are at the end of the latter years of our life and we have all of this money, but we forgot to enjoy it because we didn't know how to enjoy it, because we never put a name to it or a face on it. We never put a agenda, towards it. We never gave it a responsibility other than just to grow. And even the growth rate is, a reason why we need to decide what we want to do with the money when we get it, because there's different techniques, there's different vehicles, there's different strategies that will grow your money at different times, different phases, in different ways, right? So, all in all, be smart, be methodical, right? Use strategy, be thoughtful, be discerning, and, have some confidence in your decision making. Have the confidence that I'm going to say, trust yourself enough to know that whatever the purpose is behind the goal of saving money, you're worthy of that purpose. And it will come into fruition as long as there is a vision. The people perish because lack of vision, right? You gotta envision it. You gotta write it down. You have to plan for it, and then you execute. Let's not get too caught up on the executing part of saving, but it has no purpose and has no plan and it has no direction.